From touring as a sideman for over a decade to crafting his own signature Fender guitar, Ariel Posen has become one of the most distinctive voices in modern slide guitar.
12 years, I've just spent my time going on tour with bands, with artists, playing on people's records. And then 12 years later or so, found myself moving across the country.
After relocating to Ireland, Ariel rediscovered his own voice and launched his solo career, bringing his unique hybrid approach to slide guitar that blends traditional technique with modern innovation.
Just play what comes from the heart and the mind. That first gig of me feeling of like, oh my God, I forgot what it's like to just be me.
Yeah.
On stage.
On this episode of Playback, Ariel breaks down the 5 levels of slide guitar, from basic technique to advanced hybrid playing, and shares the story behind his brand new signature guitar.
It's that.
By the way, I'm Spencer from Sonora Guitar Intensive, and this podcast is made in collaboration with Carter Vintage Guitars here in Nashville, Tennessee. Hit subscribe to stay in the loop with future episodes, and if you want to go deeper with these episodes, we actually have a free school community where we've posted detailed tabs from this episode as well as many other episodes. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to join that group. With that, let's get into it.
Ariel Posen on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here, man.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
So you are coming off of the Syncopated Summer Camp with Cory Wong.
Yes.
How was that?
It was amazing. It's the second year now, and I think it was even better. It's very different than going to play a show or going to even just like, teach a one-on-one lesson or do a clinic. It's like almost 300 people attending a 4 weeks session hang with a bunch of amazing colleagues and friends of mine and heroes of mine, and everyone's just, doing these breakout sessions, and everyone's like a sponge just taking it all in, and everyone's just so cool and accessible and approachable, and it becomes this beautiful little hang. And with all the performances every night, we're all playing.
Yeah, who was playing?
Well, of course, like Cory was playing, myself, Fearless Flyers, Anomaly, Matteo Mancuso,
Wow.
Toma Fujita, Joey Dosick, and Bernard Purdy.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, so we all played with him, which
That's wild.
I'll speak for all of us. That's a highlight and a half right there. I've gotten to play with some of my heroes in regards to drummers, and to play with the hitmaker himself.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
amazing.
wild.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds incredible. And you managed to come out with about 30% of your voice.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
I
you.
apologize in advance. I'm sounding a touch raspier than normal. But yeah, that's just the product of having fun.
Yeah.
Hanging too much. Chatting too much.
Yeah, doing some good teaching. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, today I want to dive into a whole bunch of things. We're going to do the 5 levels of slide guitar. And I also want to learn more about this amazing guitar that you've brought in, and about your transition from sort of being sideman guitar player into full-time artist and putting out records and all that stuff. So maybe we can start there. I think some of the folks who are watching will be familiar with some of your background, but can you talk about the transition from that sideman stuff to doing what you're doing now?
Totally. To really put it all in perspective, when I first started, playing shows and concerts, I was 14. I was really fairly young, and got the bug. I mean, I started playing when I was 8. But once
Your parents are musicians, right?
Yeah, musical family, was always around music, and spent a lot of time playing with older folks. Not old folks, older than me at the time. Like people in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
So
Ancient people, yeah.
Yeah. From an early age, people were instilling the fundamentals of like, hey, don't rush. Hey, you don't need to put so many notes in that chord you're playing. Just play it smaller. Like, listen to the rhythm section. Turn down, like little things like that.
Yeah.
So once I was done high school, I literally went to university or college for like 1 second. I dropped out.
Kudos.
And
Good work.
I jumped into
Were you studying music?
No, I was going to go into athletic therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big basketball fan, and I played a lot of basketball. So I was convinced that maybe I could, like, become an athletic therapist for an NBA team or something like that.
Yeah.
while never taking science in high school. So as you can guess, the first class in university where it was biology with the professor on a screen, not even in person, I was like, I think I made a big mistake and dropped out pretty shortly after. So I started, no one in their right mind knew who I was to like hire me for anything. So I started booking my own shows. I had a little band, and by little band, I just mean I had a trio. And we would just play covers and kind of self-indulgent music, kind of honestly opportunities to like cut our teeth and like shed. Yeah. These were gigs. These weren't concerts. These were like Tuesday night at a pub where we played 3 sets a night. Yeah. And I would record every night and listen back and learn a lot from it. And I was singing as well. And it was my first exposure to like just tapping into who I was as a musician, like playing like I wanted to, because no one was telling me what to do, right?
Yeah. How old were you at this time?
This was like 19-ish.
Yeah. And who were your influences at this time? Like who were you listening to?
Oh man. At that time, I was kind of getting out of my only like guitar phase. I'm a kid of the 90s, and like I'm a Beatles kid. That was what I was brought up on. Yeah. But it was bands like Green Day and Nirvana and Chili Peppers and Rage that made me want to play guitar. Yeah. Truly. It wasn't until I was about 16 I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan. And it wasn't that I wanted to play blues. I was just so taken by his energy and flair and aggression and finesse. It kind of put me down the path of wanting to take like guitar playing more seriously. So Stevie, and then I got into Jimmy, and then who were their heroes? Okay, got into like checked out Albert King, Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, of course, all these, and then more modern guys like Doyle Bramhall and Mayer and Mike Landau, Robin Ford. Then I was like, some of these guys get kind of jazzy. Like, I should get into that. Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery. Then I was like kind of sick of guitar, and it was like Charlie Parker and Coltrane and Miles and piano players, Bill Evans, Thelonious Monk. Bass players had a huge like Jacko phase, and a bunch of other players. I'm missing so many things, but I think at that time I was listening to everything.
Were you also like, learning parts? Were you like transcribing stuff? And
I was transcribing a bit. I was just like shedding all day, every day.
Were you taking lessons at the time?
No.
No. Have you taken lessons, or are you pretty self-taught?
I took lessons when I was 8, when I first started.
Yeah.
But I feel like once I got the initial tools I needed, I was just kind of off to the races.
Yeah.
And like, that it's like once you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work. Like you become a sponge. Like these kids at this camp, like I was just so inspired and into it. I wanted to know as much as possible and was just obsessed with it. Yeah. So I was listening to everything. Yeah. And like a lot of Prince and D'Angelo and so many. I'm missing so much stuff that I was listening to, but there's a lot of music and a lot of inspiration going on at that time. So with this band, pardon me, we would play 2 to 3 times a week, again, to almost nobody, just our friends. Yeah. Make $70 a night or something, like if we were lucky, Canadian, so that's like $3 US or whatever. And eventually these gigs, some people would turn up and go, hey, your band is kind of average, but we like your guitar playing, and we need a guitar player for this artist that's in town. She has a showcase with Sony in 2 months, so we're going to do a residency at this other place every Thursday. We need to put together a band. Would you be into being a part of that? I was like, yes. And then I rehearse with those guys and become friends with everyone, and they go, hey, you're a cool cat, and you're like a good player. Like, I'm going to recommend you for this other gig. And like, this is how, it spirals on the working man's hired gun era. Yeah. And you become a yes man to every single thing. And for about 12 years, I've just spent my time going on tour with bands, with artists, playing on people's records, a little bit of producing. a bunch of that stuff. And then spent little time playing with my friends, Brothers Landreth, in their band. But that was really also Sideman, you know. And then, 12 years later or so, found myself moving across the country. My wife was going to school in Ireland. And I was in a new place. I didn't know anybody. Fortunately for me, I had already started building a bit of a profile, like online. And through a fan and word getting out that I was going there, introduced me to an artist in Cork where I moved to. And took me to like a session the first night. And a session in Ireland is like you set up in a bar, not on stage, like at a table. And everyone in the bar just crowds around and listens. And it's like this beautiful thing. So like my second night living in town, I got taken to this midnight ramble, it's called. It's a session that starts at midnight. Said, bring a guitar. We'll have an amp for you. Okay. And there I met most of my core best friends from Cork and Ireland in general that night. Some of them then became my band members, went in my first inauguration of my band. So I needed to like work, right? I was like, what do I do? How did I get started in the first place? Because I told all my gigs and the people I worked with back home, I'd love to still work with you, but like my flight is twice as much now because I'm here now. But I'd still love to make it work.
Yeah.
Kudos to most of them. They were like really gracious to say, no problem, we'll still make it work. But I knew that wasn't like super feasible. So when I wasn't on tour, I still needed to be active and working. So started booking my own gigs again. Like I did. Yeah. When I was like 12 years old. And I've never cared about being center of attention or needing that attention. But that fire and that feeling of like, oh my God, I forgot what it's like to just be me on stage. Because like as a sideman, your job is to put your imprint on the music, but it's someone else's music. It's someone else's vision. And most of the time you're learning someone else's part. And like your job is to take up a small piece. Like if we're talking like a big canvas, you take up one small particle of that for the greater good. And I love doing that. It's all about serving the song. But as much as you want to put your imprint on it, you don't fully get to be yourself. In fact, the whole point is to be like this chameleon where you go unnoticed. You're just there to support. And also you become this Swiss Army knife where you try to play as many genres as possible. And through that, you kind of don't have an identity at all, because what is your sound? What is your voice? What are you trying to say here musically? And that first gig of me just, again, hilariously enough, playing a lot of the same covers I played 12 years earlier, I was reminded of like, oh my God, it's fun to just not play what you think people want to hear because it's there, and just play what comes from the heart and the mind and what. So it was a mixture of like right place at the right time, and with online things kind of blowing up, opportunities started coming when it started to be clear that I was starting to pursue like a solo thing, and some tours came my way. I did them. It was great. And
were your bandmates like trad players?
No. I mean, versed in it, but like killer musicians.
What do they play?
Bass and drums.
Bass and drums.
Yeah.
What were they doing at a trad jam?
It wasn't a trad jam.
Oh, okay.
It was a session.
It was a session.
So a session can be any style of music.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. So it was just like a jam session kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
It wasn't like a jigs and reels.
Not so much, no.
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah, cool. Awesome.
So yeah, that just kind of led me down the path. You know, I never had the bug to make my own music, or I've always been writing. Write with other people for their projects, write for fun. And people for years would be asking me, you ever think about doing a solo thing? And I'd be like, nah, I got time for that. I don't think people want to hear that. And
when did you make the decision to make that transition?
I was like 30, 31, late in the game.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been ready earlier. You know, I needed my decade plus of being at the back of the stage, watching how people front and like navigate through the business, so that when I finally started, I was pretty ready and I had a good idea of what it takes. And still, it's a learning process, even like almost 10 years into it now. I'd say 8 or 9 years. But I'm not upset in any way that I started later. Like, it was like when it had to happen.
Yeah.
And it was just very natural. And yeah,
What's your process been? How did you tackle the task of going solo and becoming an artist? Like,
I just dove into it.
yeah.
I leaned on a lot of friends that I toured with a lot in their projects, friends that had experience with other artists, and just asked other artists, friends of mine. It's like I never really got into favor territory, but I took that moment to just try to lean on them and ask for advice if there was something I didn't understand or something I didn't know how to navigate. Things as simple as like, how do you even release music like in this day and age? How do I market myself outside of like social media? How do I build a campaign if I'm putting out an album? Like how do I even pitch this to people to see if people, like there was so much to learn.
How'd you learn that?
Literally by asking,
Yeah.
leaning on friends and colleagues and peers, and just, I think it's a good lesson actually to never be afraid to ask. If you're not sure of something and you feel self-conscious that people are going to think you're like dumb or something or not, that's not how it works. Like this life is built on like sharing and helping each other.
Yeah.
And there's no egos, just like, if you're not sure, just ask. People want to help, because all the people that helped me did the exact same thing when they were in that position. They were asking their colleagues and friends, like, what do I do here?
Yeah.
It's part of the process. And nowadays I get asked all the time, like, how do I do this? The exact same things. And I'm always happy to share. There's no gatekeeping this information. It's not like secretive information. It's intel that needs to be shared, because we're all trying to do this thing, and it's like not an easy thing to do. The least I can do is pay it forward, considering all these people helped me on the way.
If you were to give advice to a young person or a person in general who's in this same spot where they're like, I want to start releasing my own music, what was the best piece of advice that you received in that stage about the release process specifically? Well,
you can't be afraid to just cold call people. Like, let's say, for example, we don't even have to say you're chasing a label. Maybe you're chasing a distribution company bigger than like DistroKid or TuneCore, CD Baby, right? There's a lot of sub-distro companies now that kind of act as label, and they provide label services, but it's not a label. So just like how to put together an email pitch, how to put together a press kit, you have to understand, once you become an artist, you're not just branding yourself as like, hey, here's my resume, and all it includes is who I've played with, some cool festivals I've played, whatever. Now it's like this, what's your statement here,
Yeah, your world building.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Like, why are you doing this? What, you know what I mean? It's so much bigger. And
how do you answer those questions?
Answer which questions?
Who are you? What, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's a great question. We actually had a big talk about this yesterday at the camp, getting into like mission statements and vision statements. Like, it's one thing to like, your goal is to do the thing you're doing. In this case, for me, writing songs, playing guitar, singing, connecting with people, engaging, building community. But like, what's the actual statement here? It's something that I think a lot of people, me included, haven't thought of in such a deep way, where it's like, it really puts things into perspective to be like, my like mission statement here maybe is to share authenticity and like be your truest self within your community, and help your community also be your truest self. Something like that would be kind of along the lines of how I would answer that, I think. Yeah.
I love that.
It's deep stuff, which seriously is something I didn't really think about so directly. It's like kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this, it's almost like a developmental stage where you have to first figure out who you are, then figure out how to get that out in the world, and then figure out how to teach other people to do the same thing in some way. That's sort of like the natural maturity progression of a human being in a way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Super cool. Well, I want to shift gears here and talk about this epic guitar that is in your lap.
Yes.
Can you talk about this process of developing this guitar? And we'll get into the 5 levels of slide in a little bit, but this thing is amazing. So tell us a bit about it.
Yes. So, yeah, this is the Ariel Posen SIG. Came out a month ago. Is it the 15th?
Yeah, it's the 17th.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Where am I? So it came out a month and 2 days ago.
Amazing.
But it was 2.5 years in the process.
Wow.
I've had a relationship with the Fender folks for quite a long time, and 2.5 years ago I was experimenting. When I tour, I don't have the luxury yet of cartage and crew and the ability to bring more than 2 guitars with me.
Yeah.
So I typically bring the baritone mule, and I bring my Jazzmaster or another guitar for open tuning stuff, and between those I cover a lot of ground in terms of range and what is needed for an AP show. Mm-hmm. And I love the Jazzmaster. I love an offset, but I've really always identified as a Strat guy. Mm-hmm. And I started experimenting. I got my hands on like a couple cheaper like vintage American Vintage 2 models or something like that, with the sole purpose of, I knew I loved cupcake knobs because the grip is so much better. Mm-hmm. I knew I loved the pickup switch where the second tone knob goes because I never use the second tone knob, and I hate the pickup switch here on a Strat because I always hit it when I'm playing. Mm-hmm. But I've never fully loved 3 single coils. I love it. It's an epic sound, but it never felt original to me. Every time I play it, it sounds like a million other artists that have identified their voice with that sound, Mm-hmm. And I love the 2 pickups configuration with a three-way switch kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Simpler and just a bit beefier.
Humbuckers too, or are those single coil?
Single coil.
Okay. Wow.
So I was experimenting with things like gold foils, experimenting with some mini humbuckers. They all sounded great, but gold foils, everyone's just like, oh, nice Stratocaster. So I didn't want to do that. So I'm talking to my friend Steven and at Fender, and I was telling him, I'll pay for it. I'd love to order a custom shop, and I'm still figuring out the pickup configuration, but I think I have a cool idea for a Strat that would be very me, explaining the little things that I like. I told him how I like this neck shape, which is the exact same neck shape from another Strat I have, which was then used for the Jazzmaster.
What is the neck shape? What's the profile on it?
It's some kind of U profile. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you the exact specs, but beautiful thing with most companies, especially Fender, you just tell them the serial number, they pull it up, and it's the exact information.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So he said, that's a really cool idea. I'll do you one better. How about we do a signature guitar? And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a moment.
Sounds great. And I will say, I've so fortunate to be offered that a few times before. A bit more casually, someone will go, we'd love to do a signature thing with you. You pick something off the website you like, and we'll throw on a cool color and call it a day. And it's like, yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for that, but it doesn't feel very signature to me.
Yeah.
The opportunity to be you can literally do anything was very exciting. If we snapped a picture of us right here going like this and screen printing it on every model, could have done that.
Would have been sick.
Would have been sick. In hindsight, maybe we should.
Yeah, that's the next model, yeah.
So it just made sense, It was just felt right. So we started the process, 2.5 years of back and forth, prototypes. A big part is the electronics, of course. So when I just found that I wasn't locking into something sonically that I was connecting with, we connected with Tim Shaw at Fender, who's amazing. And he asked me what I was looking for. And I said, well, I don't really want humbuckers. I don't even want mini humbuckers, but I don't want your typical single coil sound on a Strat. I want something in between.
Yeah.
And historically, I wasn't a big fan of P90s, but he said, why don't we try a P90 in the bridge, just to start, because it's still single coil, but it's beefier. And then we'll do one in the neck. And I said, you know what? I've never liked a P90 in the neck. I always feel like it's just too muddy. Is there any way we could somehow get like my Jazzmaster neck pickup? And he's like, tell me the serial number. Okay, tell him the serial. And like they have all like the wiring information from that guitar.
Yeah.
He says, I could probably fit that Jazzmaster neck pickup, which to me sounds a bit more open than a Strat neck pickup. We can fit it in a P90 housing. And the two of them together they should play pretty nice together. And the first set I got in the first prototype completely nailed it.
Really?
It's a perfect balance. It has just more beef than what I get from a Strat, but it's not like a super Strat or anything.
Yeah.
And it's just very me.
Yeah.
And it sounds great. So
that's so awesome. What were the other details that you really cared about? Because I noticed like even the staining on the
there's some cosmetic things. The staining I love. The color is this Lake Placid blue with very light aging. You can only really see it in certain lighting. Like depends how the light's hitting us. Yeah. Maybe we see it in the video, maybe not.
On the fret or on
the body.
On the body, yeah. And then the back of the neck is aged out.
Yeah, I wanted like a smooth style.
Yeah,
it feels really good. You come to Nashville or something, it gets really sticky really fast.
Oh, 100%.
So that avoids that.
Yep.
I wanted a hardtail Strat. I wasn't using a tremolo arm as much, or I haven't been.
Yeah. And
just like as a professional too, that time you break a string on a floating trem, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wanted that. I also feel like there's just a bit more resonance overall in the sound, which might be a myth, but I'm sticking to it.
I think you're right.
Other than that,
and it's
no treble bleed. I hate treble bleeds, so there's no treble bleed in there. It's most of.
How do they prevent that?
It's just a little capacitor that you take out.
Oh.
That's soldered to the volume knob.
Oh wow.
The volume pot. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. And it's not a Barry.
No.
Yeah, it's just a standard.
But it could be a Barry.
Yeah, you could.
I have one that's tuned to open C, and it sounds massive. The thing is, like even the mule baritone is not what would be considered a baritone. It's the same scale length.
Oh, okay.
All the guitars I play in B standard or lower tunings are all standard scale. I don't actually love longer scale baritones, like proper baritones, because I always felt it charters into like bass territory sonically. And standard scale length still feels like guitar. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't fight with bass.
So can you just tune the like your mule to standard and it feels fine, or does it kind of mess with the?
Well, you'd have to change the string gauge.
Yeah.
It's like I have my own custom like signature string set with String Joy for baritone, 14 to 62. So if you tune that up to E standard, like
it's gonna
that won't work. Snap.
Yeah.
So,
but if you put normal strings on that,
of course,
it would just work fine.
Oh yeah, it's just a guitar.
For some reason, I had this conception that like there's something different about the build or something. But that's good to know.
And those same strings I put on this guitar. The only difference is you need to maybe adjust the nut slots here.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What a cool thing to craft with such a legendary company.
Thanks so much. Really it was an amazing experience.
And it's available for folks if they want to go out and get it now?
It is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, shall we dig into these levels of slide guitar?
We shall.
All right. So I want to jump into the 5 levels of slide guitar. And we have actually outlined a couple of, I'm going to pull it out here. We've outlined a couple of steps, but start us off at the beginning. Someone's picking up slide for the first time. Where do they start?
Well, outside of finding the right slide that fits and sounds to your liking.
How do they do that?
Trying a bunch of them. I think the typical move is to go to any guitar store and go, give me that one. And then you put it on a finger that you think you want to play on, and maybe it's 5 times the size of your finger, and it sounds horrible, and you're like, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. It's probably not the right fit. personal pref for me, but I like a smaller, snug kind of feeling slide so that it feels almost like an extension of your finger rather than like this bigger object that you're holding. So
which one do you use?
this is my signature Ariel Posen rock slide. So it's a pinky slide. I see a lot of people.
It looks thin too.
Yeah, it's not very big, but it's like perfect size of my pinky and works for like your average sized hand. If you got like big plumber bass player hands, it's going to be too small. I'm the first to say this slide might not be the right one for you. Just finding the one that fits and picking a finger that works the best for you. All my favorite slide players played on their ring finger, and it never felt right for me. So right from the beginning, I switched to the pinky. You know, Bonnie Raitt plays on her middle finger. Like you can make it work however works for you. Just don't feel like because everyone does it this way and it feels good for you the other way that you shouldn't do that. So after you do that, also you got to make sure your guitar is set up for it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like a frustrating part of the process of playing slide, is that it's not going to work unless the setup is there for you. So assuming most of us are playing 9s or 10s for standard tuning, I would recommend erring on the heavier side, so 10s would work or 11s. Just get that action raised a little. I like a balance where I could still play fingerstyle and bend and play slide. Like that's what this guitar and basically all my guitars are. Slidable and finger styleable.
Yeah. Yeah, you can play a normal way.
So once you get those dialed in, basic technique just to get started is your right hand. So it's more so about muting. I like the sound of fingers rather than pick. I'll just show you the difference. And then with pick, so like you can hear quite the difference. Neither is bad or good. I like the warmer attack. But more than the warmer attack, using my finger, the way I'm kind of plucking it, I can actually mute it easier than with using a pick. So I have a technique, I called it the sandwich technique, where whatever string you're playing, let's say I'm playing the B string, my thumb's on the G, the rest of my fingers are sitting on the high E string, and then the thumb is also sitting on the rest of the bottom string. So if I played every string right now,
oh wow!
so you're only hearing that one string.
Cool.
So if I'm not
you're
muting
with the back of the thumb.
Yes.
It's not even like it's not a palm thing. It's actually this aspect of the thumb that's muting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so let's say, okay, here's what it sounds like if I'm muting. If I don't mute.
Yeah.
So we want to get rid of all that unwanted information. We don't want those strings. Just like when you're playing with your fingers. We mute without even realizing it. Our hands stay on the fret because we don't want the listener, to hear those other strings. So that's the technique I use on the right hand for muting. And there's a common misconception with slide where people think all the muting happens behind the slide here on the left hand. So they think that if you put your fingers down, it suddenly mutes. It does not. It is more of a dampening that happens. So as you can hear,
bunch of overtones.
there's a bit more, like there's like a sparkling overtone thing, which maybe you want or maybe you don't want. It's good just to have awareness of what each formation does, just to control that. But that would be my level 1, just getting those locked in.
That's great. And did you pick up did you kind of develop that right-hand technique, or is there someone that you borrowed that sort of back of the thumb technique from?
I kind of developed that, yeah.
And
Again, it came from like, this just feels right for me.
Yeah. And are you always picking with your pointer finger and muting with the
I'm more so plucking with my middle finger.
Right, okay.
But when I don't want to get too far ahead in the steps, but if I'm switching strings, you'll see me use a little bit of my index finger
Sort of like a
middle
bass.
finger, and my thumb. So check this out.
Yeah. And do you always palm a pick right now? You're palming a pick in your pointer finger
Yes.
here, and you always have that there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Like a card
people
trick.
some people do this.
Yep.
Some people have other ways. It's one of those things that you just have to subconsciously figure out the right place for it. That's where it's like always safe for me.
And you've figured out a way to still pick with that pointer finger while you're palming it as well. Like
Yeah.
you just and you just sort of claw it.
Yeah, but and also having it right there allows me to like switch
Right.
between pretty seamlessly. Like check it out. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, it's so dynamic. You're kind of getting the best of both worlds. Like a lot of people who play slide are kind of locked into just slide stuff. You're getting, well, we'll get there, but you're getting this hybrid, and you're getting finger and sort of like finger and normal pick style. And
Totally.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's really flexible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's amazing. Let's dive into level 2. Can you break that down for us?
Let's do it. Yeah. So level 2 are some key left-hand techniques. So the first I want to focus on is your anchor. And your anchor is going to be your thumb. The way I think about the thumb with slide is that for every 5 frets, you kind of want to have your thumb in the middle. So let's say we're like playing between the 3rd and 7th fret, like the thumb, you want to keep it, like sometimes it'll move a little bit, but you want to keep it as still anchored as possible. And what this does is actually just give you the control in a similar way to when you play with your fingers. You're kind of anchored at all times. And with slide, you're not. But this helps you do that. I see a lot of people play slide like this, like they have their thumb sticking out. Funny enough, I say that this is wrong. I do think it is wrong. But if you go watch Lowell George, this is how he played. And he sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
he made it work.
Yeah.
But I am sticking to my guns that like you don't have the control that you need without using the thumb.
Speaking of which, do you anchor it all? I know you're anchoring with the back of the thumb. Do you anchor it all on the pick guard with your right hand? I know there's sort of like a mixed.
No.
No, you don't.
Not really, no.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so anchor with the thumb. This is a big one. Where we're playing with the slide. So when we're playing fingerstyle, I'm just going to keep playing the same lick. We play with the tips of our fingers, obviously. Now, I see a lot of people play slide where they feel like they need to cover the entire fretboard with the slide. See, it's already hard for me to do. What this is doing is it's like we're playing the guitar like this. Where it's like we're playing with our knuckles, which we don't do.
Yeah.
So this is just like a subconscious thing that I think it's human instinct for us to do it. But as a good reminder, just as much as the anchor on your thumb is going to give you control, playing just... You can just already hear how much better that sounds. For me, I'm playing in tune again. I'm playing with like dynamics and more feel on the tip. So like this is a ball tip slide, but like I'm talking just like find where the end of your pinky or whatever finger you're using is and try to attack there. So if it's the high E string, B string, G string, D string, A string, E E string, always just be on that tip.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make playing slide so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And intuitive. So those two things are important.
That's great.
Two more things.
Mm.
Pardon me. Intonation. Probably the most important part and one of the most difficult parts. Now, the thing about playing slide, it puts us into this vocal-like territory, which can be that much more beautiful, but it can also be that much more out of tune at times. And we're just going to play out of tune sometimes. It's just what's going to happen. But you can course correct. You can always play in and around the pitch that you're looking for. And that's the beauty of essentially now being fretless. The funny thing about slide, let's say I'm playing the E string here. Sorry, the E on the B string at the 5th fret. If I play this anywhere on the fret, it sounds the same. There's no change. If I play it in the middle with the slide, very flat. Why? Don't know. But what I do know is that the sweet spot for intonation is right on the next fret. Now, when you're practicing this and working on it, you need to develop and train your ear to hear this. If you're just basing your intonation on visibility, you're going to be thinking too much about visibility, and you're not going to be thinking about flow state and creation and just melody. Like, you can't tune with your eyes. You know, some people have asked me, what if I just put my tuner on and hit a pitch and see if I'm hitting it? In theory, that works, but that's not doing you any good. You need to hear it. So, for example, if I play without looking, if I look this way, there will be I'm going to go for some like big swooping notes. I'm not going to land on the note, but I'm going to course correct pretty fast because I'm listening. So check it out. Right? Perfect example right there. And immediate course correction. But also the beauty of not necessarily hitting a note allows you to give this tension to the sound, like, you know, you could do that with your but it's not the same. You get this in-between untapped territory. So intonation with your ears, can't stress enough.
Are there any exercises to practice that?
I think the best form would be essentially doing what I was doing. You know, like you could put on a drone of some kind and a key, record yourself. I'm not talking on a DAW, I'm talking on your phone.
Yeah.
Listen back. You start to hear your habits pretty quickly, and you start to hear, oh, yikes. You know, something that's felt in tune when I was playing. Listening back now, yikes, that's not so in tune. Or felt really out of tune when you were playing, and you listen back and you go, oh, it's actually in tune. So just by playing it over and over and trying phrases and melodies, you will start to build this resilience and more so self-awareness of just hearing and identifying in real time when you're in tune or not. You know?
Yep, makes sense.
I know we're still on part 2 only, but the last 2D section is vibrato. And this one's very personal preference. I think of vibrato just like how a singer has vibrato. I usually give a vocal example, but as you can hear, I'm barely getting through this this interview just speaking. So a lot of singers have different ways of singing. A lot of singers sing a note that's just straight, no vibrato. A lot of bluegrass singers tend to have no vibrato. A lot of singers, and I would put myself in this category, tend to sing. They'll start, if you're holding a note, you sing, and then you bring the vibrato in just a little later. some singers' first note, first millisecond of what they're giving you is vibrato.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different options. And it's just like good to have awareness of the different levels of intensity that you're going for with vibrato. So you just don't want to really go outside of the fret that you're playing. But the most minimal things have such a beautiful sound to it. So like, I'd say my stock approach is the let it sit for a second and then let the vibrato naturally bloom in. But that one's pretty intuitive, vibrato. Similar to how you would do it with your fingers, but ease into it, you know?
And I think we didn't mention this in level 1, but you're in standard right now.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of the time are you playing in standard versus an open tuning?
Half and half.
Okay.
I when I started playing slide, I was in standard tuning, and when I discovered the sounds of open tuning, I was really blown away by that and wanted to explore that. So I started learning open E at that time. But what an important
open E is it just E G B E G B? Oh, it's just standard. But this is open E. Are you in open E right now?
No, I'm in standard too, but I'm saying open E
it's just
is
this.
an
Okay,
E major chord. So it's 1-5-1, 3-5-1 intervals.
Oh, great. Okay.
So those are really the only two tunings I play in, standard and open, but I'll do it in different keys.
And do you bring two guitars with you in the two different tunings, or you just tune this guy up a couple whole steps and a half step?
When I tour, I'll have one in standard, one in open tuning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to note that all the slide thing, like all the things we're talking about, are the same in either tuning. Like the core techniques are the same. Do you get some advantage from open tuning? Maybe. Do you get some advantages in standard? Yeah. I don't subscribe to the narrative of like you have to be in open tuning to play slide. There's so many people playing amazing slide in standard tuning.
Yeah.
I think it's a sound. I think of open tuning not even as a slide. I think of it like this. It feels like piano to me, like with chords and with embellishments and melodic ideas. I just love the sound of open tuning, and like I write so much in open tuning because it just feels and sounds so much more satisfying and different, and certain clusters are closer to each other. I don't even think about the slide parts of it as an advantage compared to standard. I encourage you to try it out, but truly, if you're just getting into slide, it's already a new technique that's uncomfortable and awkward. Why make it harder for yourself by like starting the fretboard to like default settings that you're not familiar with? Right. Start with what you know, get it under your fingers, and if you really want to get into that, then get into it after you've got it like pretty dialed in, I'd say.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. All right, so we're at level 3 here, which is more about vocal lines and vocabulary. Let's talk about that.
So the biggest part about playing slide is separating it from how it sounds with your fingers. So with our fingers, we get this like very attacked approach where every note is attacked. And what makes slide special is that the less you attack, the more airy and vocal-like and lyrical and expressive it sounds. So if I was to give you guys an exercise, I would say basic scales like major scale, minor scale, both major and minor pentatonic. Try to play them horizontal up and down the neck on every string. For example, let's say on the A string, the G string in A, well, just as simple as that. Let me show you what it sounds like if I attack every note, though. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds okay.
You don't like it?
I like it.
Okay. I may as well be playing it with my fingers, though.
I see.
Right?
See. Yeah. It's not very slidey.
It's not very slidey. So if I attack as little as possible,
I see. You're right.
then we suddenly have this vocal quality. And I do understand that sometimes you're going to feel like you're running out of gas, and if you need to give it one more halfway or 3/4 through, that's okay. But as little attack as possible is going to give you this sound. And another very important thing to mention with this technique, I see a lot of people start doing it, and it kind of sounds like you're drunk because they don't mark each fret. It sounds like this. But even though we're not technically stopping and pressing the fret, we are kind of marking each fret. Very important. And then if you want to start building some phrases out of that, I would start with sequencing. Take that same scale. Back down. That's going to get you into like that gospel. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's
you
like
just
the
did a little rake into it too.
Yeah, I rake a lot.
Oh, yeah, individually picked rake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, do you rake? Do you ever rake just straight with your thumb into the string, or is it always this arpeggiated?
Yeah, it's
rake?
always an arpeggiated thing. Because I don't ever start a downstroke with my thumb. It's always only when I'm string skipping on the lower strings I'll use my thumb. So it's always this thumb, index, middle pluck, or rake, if you want to call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it seems like when you're doing this too, like you just showed us this sequencing idea, it seems like a lot of your solo ideas are derived from these triads as well, like outlining that, the minor 4 chord.
Yeah, I'm a big triad guy for sure. I just love harmony, and I think I'm more just harmony focused than lick focused. So,
yeah,
rather than like, oh, I want to get to this melody or lick or like phrase idea, like I'm almost rather chase a combination of chords, or I've never actually really thought about that until now, but maybe that is. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I will chase a phrase or like be phrase focused, but I think I am much more of a lover of progressions and like combination of chords and adding tension through and finding melody just from chords. Like the chords have so much information.
Yeah.
And again, if it's not like the progression you're playing over, but you hint at like a 4 minor over 1 or some kind of combination that gives a little bit of a rub, it can be really beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. Do you have any tips for how people should work on triads with a slide? Because they do sort of lay out in this funny way where it doesn't lay out nicely under a straight bar.
I don't know that triads need to be worked on with a slide. Like triads to me are not like a lick. Triads are not the music. Triads is a framework and a way to visualize and to understand harmony. So I think you should definitely practice triads and, understanding inversions and how chords can flip, give a lot of information and valuable expansion on something that can feel stale. You could repurpose something in so many different ways. And for those that have struggles learning the fretboard, it's a really good tool to remind you how many places on the guitar we're actually just repeating ourselves and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that is the core truth of music. We're repeating ourselves, and there's only so many notes.
Yeah.
And if you can shrink the amount of information that's going into your head, therefore making it overwhelming and stressful, ideally, if you kind of take it in a more simple approach, like triads or something, then if you're transferring it out, thinking intervallically and stuff like that, for transposing and stuff like that, it should make it a lot easier. It did for me.
Yeah. A lot of people who are watching this may not have the same sort of vocabulary of, especially this gospel sound that is so emblematic of this slide playing. Could you share, you have all of this stuff just ingrained in your bones, but could you share maybe 2 to 3 phrases, licks, ideas that people could practice to kind of wrap their head around some more of the language of this gospel style slide guitar?
Yeah. I will say I'm not even a gospel style expert in any kind, but if I had to choose a couple, one of the ones that I did earlier, that's kind of a classic 6-5-3-2-1 are the intervals. Now, I could play that lick easier, but something about doing it slowly so you could hear it, getting it all on one linear movement on one string, that's another lick that is kind of a good one.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about the no attacking and all on your left hand or your slide hand.
That's cool. Yeah.
What would be another one? What is that note even? I guess it's, you're kind of
drive from the minor.
You're kind of playing the 5, but you're sharp. It's kind of a sharp 5-ish, giving that bluesy tension. I also don't think of slide as a blues thing, but in this case, gospel, blues, there is some overlap.
Yeah.
So just instead of going that equivalent, you kind of go into this untapped, what note even is it? It's just this in between.
Yeah, it's an expression. It's just some sort of, it's a dialectic thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Super, super cool. Okay. All right, let's talk about level 4 here. What does this look like?
So we're just kind of focusing on hybrid playing. So, I think a lot of people feel when they have a slide on, it's a little awkward to switch between. And this tip is maybe just more of a general mindset. And I will say as a disclaimer, it's a lot easier if you play on your pinky because the idea of playing hybrid and switching between slide and fingerstyle, we have our 3 main fingers that we use. So the idea of playing some chordal stuff or it's a lot easier to switch because we're not, if I was on my ring finger, we already lose it. We forget how important the ring finger is. So, like I was saying, this is a general mindset. It's not so much a technique. But there is something very cool about, if you're taking a solo, for example, makes it kind of more exciting and like unexpected to switch between.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get a. That's how I think of slide. True. That, like, to me, especially as an artist and having my own voice, like, the identity with slide is to use it kind of like unorthodox compared to how it normally would be, and using it when I want to on maybe something that typically wouldn't have the slide used, like not to just use it in a generic way only.
Yeah, it's a spice.
And sometimes, it'll crash and burn. I had a couple moments there where I was a little pitchy, missed some notes, but like music's fun when you take chances and like you kind of go for it.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of a vague tip,
Yeah.
but it's bridging the gap to what tip 5 is going to be.
Yeah.
Just overall mindset,
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So what happens at level 5?
I guess level 5 is playing behind the slide, which is a technique that's also an illusion. It gives the sound essentially like every note has the slide being used, a la the pedal steel. But it's not quite exactly what's happening. So some sound examples would be this.
Wow.
Some chordal stuff, some melody stuff. We're trying to make it sound like all the notes are tied together. When really, at times, like this thing I did, it's really just the bottom note that the slide is being used. Like I said in tip 1 or level 1, anything you play behind the slide, you're not going to hear anything. So what we're doing essentially, we are diagonally raising the slide so we can hear the notes behind the slide, while the bottom note, again, I'm all about the anchors, is anchoring.
Oh, so you're lifting it off.
Lifting it.
You're not pushing the string below it. You're actually lifting the bar off.
Lifting it up. So it sounds like these 3 notes are connected.
Wow. So cool.
You see how even that sounds like they're all tied together?
Yeah. So it sounds like you can ascend scales with this. You're also catching thirds and sixths behind the bar, kind of lifting up and grabbing the rest of the chords.
And there's some chord shapes that you can get that, those pedal steely kind of thing. So in standard tuning, it's like the sus2 to a major, or in this case, like a 5 to a 6, or if this is your 2 minor, 1 to a 2 or even some minor chord. One of my favorites is like playing over a 1 and hinting at like a sharp 5, but make it really, the sharp 5 in this case is what the 4 minor is. So like, Yeah.
Whoa, that was cool. Strum behind the bar as well.
Yeah. I don't know why that works, but
Yeah.
you can get endless like overtones and endless.
Yo. What a cool sound.
Woo. Beautiful sound.
That's such a cool sound.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. I also noticed through this whole time you've been working the volume knob a lot. And we didn't really make mention of that, but basically in every example you work it. Can you talk about how you work with the volume knob? And
Yeah, I just there's so much expression from swelling into a sound sometimes, and so many, like the difference of this and I love dynamics. Dynamics and like feel and touch is everything.
yeah.
I think it's even more important than any note combination.
Mm-hmm.
I've just always been a big volume
Yeah.
guy. And again, back to the signature guitar, I was saying these
A
knobs,
little closer.
they're not closer.
They're not
They're,
closer,
they're the
same
same,
distance.
but
They
these
grip.
have much better grip.
Uh-huh.
And I always felt like Strat knobs don't have any grip.
Yeah.
So that was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Beck, gotta love Jeff Beck. He was like the master
Yeah.
of volume knob stuff, so definitely inspired by that, and many others that do the same. You could even, like on the tone knob, you know, there's some cool stuff. Kind of the Roy Buchanan stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a bit harder,
Yeah.
but it also a cool sound.
Very, very cool. Amazing stuff. Well,
Hey, yeah,
thank you.
sorry, I'm just going to say,
Yeah.
there's so much, you know, we tend to get so carried away with gear and pedals and things to help us. There's so much on board the instrument
Yeah.
that's there to help us
built in.
do the thing if you
Yeah.
just let it and,
Yeah.
and learn how to understand your instrument.
Yeah. Well, this has been phenomenal. I learned so much. Thank you so much for your time. And
Yeah,
and,
man, my
maybe we
pleasure.
can have you wrap with just you want to play us a tune,
Sure.
and then we'll call it here.
All right.
There it is. Ariel Posen, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate you.